talk about Essa a little bit.
Yep.
I think he's been one of the true bright spots on the offense and has really grown since last year. Just where have you seen him kind of grow, and what have you maybe kind of tried to instill in him from a technique standpoint?
Yeah, you go back and you watch last year's tape and you watch him grow from last year to now. I think you see the maturity aspect in the kid. I think you see the preparation that he does pre-practice to post-practice to in the film room. The kid, at all the guys, he is in my office every day after practice, and that is for hours on end, just studying himself, studying NFL guys, studying tape. So from a maturity standpoint of where he's come in that realm, you start to see that kind of prosper onto the field. From a fundamental standpoint, everything that I've tried to instill in him, he has soaked that in and tried to do that, and it's kind of showing for himself. The kid's got, aspirations. The kid's got great work ethic, and you're starting to see that, right, as the season's kind of going on, that, he's starting to sustain a lot of success. So very proud of him in that realm.
Do you feel like the offensive line can kind of find somewhat of a rhythm now that you guys have narrowed it just to 5 guys instead of kind of the rotating aspect that there was there a few weeks?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's 5 guys. I think the best 5 are going to play, right? I think, when you kind of pigeon yourself whole, like these are the guys, I think there's continuity in that. But the best 5 are going to play for me. The guys that are going to play hard, that are going to do their job, are going to play each day on Saturdays. And whatever they might be, right, those guys are going to play and they're going to compete their butts off. So, but you have seen, right, growth in the continuity of those guys as a whole, whoever's been in there. I think there's a great respect for all those guys in that room, that whoever's out there, they're going to play hard, they're going to do their job, and they're going to compete their butts off.
I want to ask specifically about a guy who's kind of still working up, but that's Xavier Thorpe. Coach Sticker's kind of talked about what he's been able to do in some of the scrimmages and just kind of on the practice field. Where have you kind of seen him grow and maybe kind of really amplify his game even since fall camp ended?
Yeah, freshman, it's never easy when you come in, your freshman year, right? And you come in here in the summer and you kind of got your swimmers on, right? And you kind of got your floaties on trying to figure everything out. But that kid, every day he comes out here to practice, busts his butt every day. And you're going to see the potential in that kid, right? You see the growth that he's going to have. I mean, he'll try to rip your face off in practice. You kind of got to pull him back a little bit, which is great for O-line. You want that. But he comes out every day with the same mindset that he competes his butt off, and he's going to have a great career here.
Essa's only been playing football for a few years. Mm-hmm. Would you be able to tell that if you didn't know about that?
Well, and you tell people and they act surprised a little bit, right? When you're talking, if it's scouts or whoever it may be. And that's another thing to kind of see his progression, right? He's only played O-line for a couple years. He's going to keep getting better, right? Even through the whole season, I think a lot of people lose sight of that. You're developing as the season goes on, right? You should never kind of hit a lull. You're always developing, especially in this room, right? And you kind of got to build that into your individual, build that, pre-practice and what you're doing from there. But, yeah, no, that's why you kind of see the growth from last year to now, as this is now what is, however many years it's been of him playing. He's still kind of green at the position.
He was out here just a few minutes ago doing whatever he was doing over there by the sleds. Mm-hmm. Like, is that like normal for him, or
yep.
What does that say about him?
And that's kind of, if you come out here to practice every day, you'll see that. That's an everyday deal for him. Whether it's pre-practice or post-practice, he doesn't put on a front, right? It's not just because people are out here. You see him out there, and sometimes he'll bring those younger guys like Xavier, right? He'll bring those younger tackles or have those tackles together, and they'll always be doing something. And you kind of seen that's kind of been the strong point of that offensive line has been those tackles.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your right tackle with Lele, how much is he kind of like back in shape in terms of coming back from knee injury, and how's it going to help you guys as an offensive line?
Yeah, no, he's grown from, when he got cleared from his first day to now. That's another one. He's only going to get better through conditioning, through developing, and he's another one. He hasn't been playing O-line for a long time, right? So you've got 2 tackles that, you sit there and it's every day they come out here, they're developing and they're growing. And I know I said development a lot of times here, but that's the key of it. That's the key of this position, right? And then as he's going to continue to grow, he's only going to keep getting better. And which you see that. He's improved from the first game he went out from Boise State to the next game, right? And you're going to hopefully see that growth every game that he goes out there.
How have you seen from your starting center, Devin, in his first 6 games as a starter?
Yeah, consistent, bust his butt, right? He will die and fall on that sword for this university. And that's what you want at that position, and that's what we get every Saturday. He's going to know where to put the offensive line in protection. He's going to know what his calls need to be. He's in my office. I mean, the thing that you get with Devin is you get a coach out there on the field, right? He is the quarterback of that offensive line, and you get another coach that's out there making sure everybody's in the same page and the same accord. Devin had probably one of his best games last game. You know, from a competitive standpoint to a strain standpoint, the kid flew around. He busted his butt. I'm very proud where Devin's at right now. He wears that C on his chest with pride, right? And that's when you get voted by your team to be a captain. He has embraced that, right, and done it in a right and professional way.
Do you remember your first interaction with Devin, and then just kind of you talked about him being in your office a lot? What's that kind of relationship like between you two?
It's great. You know, I'm a little biased because I played that position, and I know how important that position is, right? And like I said, with him being a coach, I need him to be a coach out there. So me and him are going to have a little bit different relationship, right? Me and him are going to have a relationship where I can get on his ass about stuff, right? But then he can come out here and understand that I'm going to be very hard on that kid, right? I'm going to make sure that he is putting that offensive line in the right position. But we've got a phenomenal relationship. And, you know, it's easy when you come to work every day, right? And it's not really work to me, but when you come to a job and you come out here and kids buy into what they're doing and play their tails off. And that's what this group is, right? And it's all led from guys like him, like Lily, like Essa. When guys like that, when you have a player-led room, right, those guys keep that cohesiveness of that room, and it all starts with guys like Devin.
With your obviously experience as a center at Tech, are you able to just, is there any wisdom you're able to impart on him? Obviously a lot, but kind of what are those main things that you guys talk about on the daily?
You know, I tell him I'm old has-been now, right? So, you know, I always tell him the day that I can't show you what to do or how to do something, I think the day I'm going to hang my whistle up, right? And, you know, I just try to give them, you know, things that I've done or things that we've seen. You know, I'm never going to pigeonhole myself into things that I've done. I think as a coach, you've always got to learn. You've always got to grow in different techniques, different fundamentals, and try to put and help those guys and give them a toolbox to help them be really successful. Whether that's something I did, whether that's something some other center did in the NFL, you know, I think there's always things that you try to teach these kids that where is their, you know, skill set, what can they handle, what can they perfect and do really good with.
And then when you look at Devin, you've talked about a lot of things, but what are you most proud of in terms of his progress so far from when you met him?
Leadership and effort. I think leadership sticks out. When we're not having a good day, like, you know, we kind of got our butt kicked a little bit in a period versus defense today, and you hear Devin on the sidelines getting the offense going, right? And he is that constant leader that no matter what, whether we're getting beat, whether we're doing good, he's kind of consistently there from a leadership standpoint. That's what I'm most impressed with and I'm most proud of because he is. He's wearing that C on his chest with pride and doing everything he can to be that rock for this football team. And that's what I'm most happy with, as you can say, and most pleased with him.